All right, so let's start first with the bass line. Now, what I've done is in these three different variations, the bass line is pretty much the same, just short little variations depending on, you know, if there's different chords involved, all right? But the bass line is going to remain pretty much the same. Let me go through and I'm going to play it for you, and we're going to talk about how I came up with the notes and then also some fingering. You'll notice that I did not write in the fingering. I did that on purpose because I'd like you to write in your own fingering. Fingering that works for me may not work for you, and it's important that instead of you just looking at the fingering and thinking, okay, let me play that, you get to understand how to create your own fingering. So let's start with this. So it starts with F, F, right? So it's just jumping down the octave, then walking up. Right, so you see how I'm just walking around the scale to get to the B flat. Remember, when creating a bass line, every new chord change. So when we see a new chord, we're going to hit the root on that new chord change. So I get to the next measure, I got to get to B flat. Second finger on B flat, that works well for me. And I'm going to go to my thumb. I'm jumping up to the third of the chord, and then I'm going to go back up to that F. So I got two more notes, because remember this is all quarter notes, this bass line. I got two more notes to get to the F, so I just do this double chromatic right here. I'm just going to change that so that it says D sharp and then E natural. That'll be a little bit easier to read. Okay? So again, from the beginning. Okay? And then I jump over again to the third. Now here I will use my middle finger. You can do this. You can get away with this. So if I hit my middle finger, I can do that little slide. The problem, though, with the slide is that, yeah, it's not always the best way of you know, getting to that next note, right? You could do it, and you're going to use it when coming up with bass lines, because you know, like on the spot, you're going to have to, like, you know, come up with your fingering, and you might find yourself having to slide, you know, from a black note up to a white note like that. So it is a technique that you can use. But you can cross over to your fourth finger like that. That might be a little bit difficult for you, though. Don't do this. See how I went second finger and then middle finger? Don't cross a finger over a finger, okay? Just avoid it. It's just bad fingering, okay? You just don't do that. Don't cross a finger over a finger. There is one time that you can do it, and it involves the fourth finger and the fifth finger, and I'll talk about that later, okay? So here I would, we ended on the thumb, okay? Now, one thing we could possibly do is do this, and this would probably be a better fingering. So hit your fourth finger on E flat, then get your second finger on F, then you have your thumb on the A, and then middle finger. Then we're going up to the C. That's pretty simple. Then fourth finger, G flat. I'm doing that approach. Okay, so the roots are C, then F, and beat 3, but I'm doing this approach, half-step approach, to get into the F. I could have also come from underneath as well, but the half step underneath would be an E natural on a C minor chord. Doesn't work so well. So I did a half step from above, and then you can hit your thumb there or a second finger. Okay, that's all. Or, okay. And then going down to the third of the chord. So you see how I'm outlining the notes of that chord, that B flat 7. Then I go down to the low B flat. Now what I don't want to do is do something like that in which I am jumping out of a non-chord tone. So if I did this, that would be fine because I'm walking down the arpeggio. But if I did that where I'm like trying to like do a half-step approach and I go down to the root down there, that leap outside of a chord tone is not going to sound good. That would work. That works as well. So I'm just outlining that chord. Could have also done something like that. many different variations that you can come up with, right? But for right now, don't worry too much about the different variations. Just try and learn it the way that I'm presenting it to you here, okay? So C minor, I'm back at, oh, you know what, let me put in these measure numbers too before I forget. So I'm going to go back to